That's Elliot. L-T. Elliot is amazing.
The Honest Truth with Benito Vergatini. Smile 90.4 FM.
Joining us to fill us in on their latest partnership with Reach for Recovery, as well as how you could get involved with their super interactive breast cancer awareness stall. And this is all happening at the upcoming Kamers event at Blauwklippen Estate on the 25th to the 30th of October. Joining us to chat more about this is Marli Du Toit, brand ambassador at Reach for Recovery. Marli, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Hi, and thank you so much for having us. It's very exciting to be here on Smile. Put a smile on my dial.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marli. Also joining us is Lauren Pybus. She's National Marketing Manager at Euphoria Telecom. Lauren, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Benito. It's wonderful to be with you. Thank you so much for having us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Lauren, if I can start with you, I mean, what do a former model, a telecoms company, and breast cancer have to do with one another?
I think the simplest way to answer that question is by saying it's all got to do with connection, communication, and support. The backstory behind Marli's and I's journey together is deeply personal to us both. In short, I had a very close friend, Eve, who died of breast cancer on the 9th of February last year. And, you know, as social connections go, she had met Marli, who's one of my oldest and closest friends. We were at university together. And I think Marli had been to one of my birthday parties and Eve was there. She was the most wonderful, vivacious, incredible person, a lover of all things creative. And I think Mars was aware at that time that Eve had breast cancer. And then fast forward to hard lockdown, 2020, I get a phone call from Marli and she's phoning me to say that she's been diagnosed with the exact same kind of breast cancer that Eve was being treated for. So, again, talking about connection and communication, unfortunately for Eve, when she was diagnosed, she didn't get the right support, the right advice, and the right treatment. And she's been sent from pillar to post. And I immediately wanted to connect Eve with Marli so that Marli could get that advice and all of the learning from Eve herself. So I put the two of them together and they started chatting. And as a result of Eve's directive, you know, Marli got important advice, got to the right oncologist at the right time. And that really is that was a foreshadowing, I think, of everything that Reach for Recovery as an organization does. And Marli wasn't connected with them at that time, and neither was I. But it's funny how life works like that. And, you know, we lost Eve. You know, I was very close to her, and then Marli forged her own relationship with Eve. And we lost her, but, you know, we think of her often with great love, and especially now in Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I think she would get such a kick out of the two of us working together now. So, and how did that come about? Well, fast forward to the end of last year, and had a catch-up brunch with Marli, and she was going through treatment at that time. And we were just chatting, and she said to me, you know, I've been approached by this amazing organization doing amazing things, and I've been invited to possibly become their new brand ambassador. And of course, that's the absolute right choice, because there Marli was at that brunch being the superstar networker that she is, and already trying to pull in corporate support. And knowing that I am the marketing manager for Euphoria, she was, you know, asking me, you know, for ideas and asking me to keep Reach for Recovery in mind, which I, of course, did. And then at the beginning of this year, as the marketing manager, I sit on the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee. And Euphoria is a very charitable company, the most charitable company I've ever worked for. And our team was sitting together looking for a focus, a good cause that we could get behind over the long term. And cancer came up as a subject because even within our own Euphoria family, we all know somebody who's either died from cancer or is battling cancer or who has conquered cancer. And so when you think about it, it's a very personal issue for us all. And so I thought, I've got to get Marli in there. We're looking for a cancer charity focus. We set up a Zoom meeting, and Marli was at the end of treatment at that point. And even though she was not feeling her best, she still came into that meeting with all of the energy and dynamism that she has. And we all fell in love with her. And as she shared the vision for Reach for Recovery and the wonderful work that they do, we immediately decided we had to get behind the organization, and we wanted to support Marli and Reach for Recovery in whatever way we could. And that was then the start for Marli and I to start kicking around ideas and brainstorming for what has ultimately become our event at Kamers, and that's the discussion point that we're having here today. Yeah, that's how it all came together. As I said, it's all about meaningful connections, communication, and support.
Lauren Pybus is National Marketing Manager at Euphoria Telecom, joining us this evening in conversation. Terribly sorry to hear about the loss of your dear friend, Lauren. And Marli, how important is the correct advice, especially after receiving a breast cancer diagnosis?
Sure. I mean, it's pivotal. It's crucial. And I do think we are extremely fortunate in this country to have some of the best medical professionals, like the teams and the people available to us here in state and in private care are really extraordinarily good. And that's why it is extremely and unnecessarily sad for me that Yvette's diagnosis, which was the same as mine, that a step was missed or a step was just put in the wrong order. What Lauren's saying about connections and things, I was so fortunate. It's literally like angels were dancing around me at the time of my diagnosis, because one after the other, different connections in my life showed up and pointed me towards specific experts and amazing people that were not necessarily available to everyone. And I can't even understand why it had to go so differently for Yvette than for me. But she was absolutely someone who was shining a light into dark corners for me, because she'd had the bad past, the past where things went wrong, where she got to metastasis, yes, I mean, talking to the right people is absolutely pivotal. And then secondly, also I have so many messages and missions I have to go on, but one of them is patient advocacy and advocating for yourself, but also finding the support of people who have been through it to help you advocate for yourself. Because the one expert that I was so fortunate to get access to through a mutual friend, I mean, how lucky can you get? She explained to me that for her, cancer treatment is like a train. And so you've got all these trucks that have to be in line behind the other, each behind the other. And it's not about which trucks. We all know which trucks to use. You've got chemotherapy, you've got radiation therapy, you've got hormone therapy, you've got surgery. But she said with Yvette's case and with mine, what became very important was the order in which you take the steps. And so, I mean, that sort of information and expertise is only available from super experienced doctors at that high level. But then on a low peer-to-peer level, I mean, you know, people's experiences can be invaluable and just put you on a track that you wouldn't have been otherwise, which is 100% what happened with me and Yvette. I literally changed my entire team. And it's not to say that the team I was with would have done the wrong thing, or I would also, you know, not have made it. But in my personal lived experience, Yvette set me on a different track, and I've had this absolutely, at the moment, perfect result. So, yes, I mean, the information you get and who you listen to and why and how is so super important.
And what has life been like, Marli, post-treatment for you?
What is life like right now? Life is like a box of chocolates. To steal a quote from Forrest Gump.
Yes.
No, my life currently is covered in pink ribbons and sparkles and glitter and fashion and photo shoots and tulle dresses and makeup and lights and radio interviews. So at the beginning of this interview, I was sitting here going, is this really happening, or am I just dreaming this again? Because it's just crazy what is happening to me right now in the most beautiful way. So
It's
I am
about
finding that
connection, my friend. It's about connection.
but it's insane how my dots are being drawn together. Like every weird job I've had over a lifetime has given me a certain skill set that is now becoming obvious why I needed to have these weird disparate jobs and why I knew the people that I know and why I studied drama at Stellenbosch 25 years ago. So my life is beautiful and exciting. And that's where I met Lauren, and that's where I met the person who brought me into Reach for Recovery. So those are connections that go back 25 years, and I couldn't have known that I would have to get cancer to understand the fulfillment of these amazing connections.
And I'm getting the sense, Marli, that Reach for Recovery is benefiting from all the skills and experience that you've acquired on your journey so far.
Well, it seems that way, and I'm happily giving it to them because they are also giving me a platform to do things that I wasn't ever sure I could or would or should do. So it's all just synchronicity and serendipity and flow. I'm turning full hippie lately because, yes, life is certainly like showing me many, many beautiful lessons all around connection. So, yes, that's my life currently.
And that connection, Lauren, is now becoming something real and tangible, evident in what's going to be taking place at the Kamers event. Tell us about the Heart Gallery.
Well, Benito, first of all, I have to say that our darling friend Eve was a huge fan of Kamers. She loved my life because she adored all things design. So I had the privilege of going to a Kamers event with her in Rondebosch a couple of years ago and seeing all of the amazing entrepreneurs there and the design, the beauty through Eve's eyes was such a thrill. And, you know, I'm a creative person as well, so she and I had that in common. So when Marli came to Euphoria and said, listen, I'm looking for sponsorship to co-create a space at Kamers. Can you guys help? I immediately saw the connection there. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We were wanting to go in that direction from a charitable perspective. But also, you know, Kamers is a hub for entrepreneurs and small business owners. And that's the reason that Euphoria really exists. We are there to make business communication easy. We're there to help people grow their businesses and, you know, become successful. And also it's a hub for female-led businesses, and we have many women in our management team. So doing an event at Kamers made sense to me on many different levels. And it was a natural fit and something exciting and creative to work on. And so once our CEO, John Willem, gave us the green light to go ahead with the space, that's when Marli and I sat around and thought, well, what can we create together that can help her vision and the vision for Reach for Recovery come to life? And that's really the creative spark for the Heart Gallery, which Marli can sort of explain in more detail.
Yes, Marli. What will our listeners experience when they are part of the Kamers event at the gallery? What will they experience?
Yes. So, I mean, this thing, when Lauren and I started talking, I was picturing a little tent with a little heart on a wall, you know, maybe some fake flowers or something cute and pink. But then Lauren and Euphoria ran with the idea, and they have built a gallery of dreams.
Oh, wow.
So my obsession with all things tulle and sparkly and pretty and pink and hearts, which ties in so nicely with, you know, the color of breast cancer is pink, and it is about ribbons and hearts, and it's all just my new femininity, like or grabbing back to my own. What I felt like I lost my femininity, you know, when you lose your hair and your breasts and your eyelashes. So I think for me, I've been on this mission to recover my femininity, and in the process, I also want to help recover everyone else's and cover the world in sparkle and glitter. So when we started thinking, well, what are we going to do? I said, I want to do the opposite of what people expect from a breast cancer tent. One of the Kamers ladies, right off the bat, she mentioned, how about photos of breast cancer survivors? And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, being a model, former, current, I don't know, sometimes we'll see. That's something that I love. I love being on set. I love taking photographs. I love seeing photographs. I love fashion. But then I knew that mostly when we photograph a breast cancer survivor, we either like to shoot her really starkly, black and white, show her power and her fortitude and then on the other hand, we might also like to shoot her bare-chested. And, it's always like these quite strong warrior, always playing on that warrior thing. And I was like, what if we go the opposite way? And we take breast cancer survivors and we dip them in Disney glitter and we throw tulle and sparkle and everything that's dirty all over them. And we see what that looks like. So we started doing the photo shoot where we put these girls in the most amazing, gorgeous, big tulle dresses, which was also something I had in my mind, not knowing that there is a young breast cancer survivor out there called Lene Hick who rents out big, poofy tulle dresses for photo shoots. I mean, I've got chills now when I actually think about all these connections and how they came together. Anyway, so the point of the Heart Gallery is that we have an exhibit of these amazing 12 gorgeous pictures that we shot, and they are in the Heart Gallery so that everyone can come and understand this little bit of this prism of magic, of life, of hope that I'm trying to convey. That yes, breast cancer is scary. Yes, breast cancer can be a killer. Yes, we lost Eve, who was the bubbliest, blondest, most vivacious, bubbly, drinking, loving life person. She literally is having a party up in heaven right now for everything that's happening down here. And so people can come to this gallery. They can get a little touch of that feeling of hope and euphoria. Yes. Not to be too cheesy. That I am feeling, that I'm living with every day that I woke up and I'm still here and I still get to do something and I get to create and I get to play with my friends and create beauty. So it's a lounge filled with beauty and hope. And then we have these beautiful little moments, opportunities where people can take photographs of themselves in front of a very exciting little backdrop. And there's interactive things that can happen when you step on something happens. So yeah, just like an art gallery of discovery, but everything like with a little tongue in cheek and a little fun and a little girliness and a lot of a hope.
Yeah, important, a lot of the hope, and it's all part of Kamers happening the 25th to the 30th of October at Blauklippen Estate. Lauren, how do our listeners get tickets? How can they be a part of Kamers?
Well, I think the main thing for the listeners to be aware of is that the Heart Gallery has a strong fundraising focus. We don't want visitors who are coming to Kamers to come into the Heart Gallery space in a passive way. We want them to actively participate. We've got a strong message for everybody out there. It's have a heart, do your part. And to that end, we do have 2 different photo moments where you can take selfies or you can take pictures with your girlfriends. And if you post those pictures on your socials with the assigned hashtags, which you'll find in the Heart Gallery space, then the Euphoria team is going to be looking online for your pics. And if we spot them, we could make a donation to Reach for Recovery on your behalf. But you can also, when you come into the Heart Gallery space, make a direct donation to Reach for Recovery yourself. And just by being there, making a donation, you're making a difference. The funds are going to Reach for Recovery, which does this wonderful job of pairing a recently diagnosed breast cancer patient with a woman who's been through breast recovery, been through breast cancer treatment and recovered. So there's that hopeful element. This is a fun space, and every like and every share can also help amplify the message and get much needed funds to an organization that really, really needs it. And you can know exactly where your money is going to go. So come down and visit us. We're also going to be at Kamers in Johannesburg for any listeners who happen to be up there or have friends or family in Joburg. We're going to be at Kamers. The Heart Gallery is going to be there at the end of November, beginning of December, so they can also join us up there. You'd be most welcome.
Lauren Pybus, National Marketing Manager at Euphoria Telecom. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and all of the best for Kamers and the Heart Gallery.
Thank you, Benito. We really appreciate the listeners tuning in, and come and see us. We can't wait to meet you.
Marli Du Toit, Brand Ambassador at Reach for Recovery. Appreciate you joining us as well this evening, Marli. Thank you so much for spreading the sparkles and the love and the hope and all of the best for the Heart Gallery. I'm no doubt that it's going to be a great success. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure, and I hope you're going to wear a bright pink shirt at least one day this month. And then when people ask you or say anything like, wow, that's a bright pink shirt or that's a bright pink nail, then just pass on our message. Say, go look at the Kamers website. Go look at the Reach for Recovery website. Awareness and funds, but while having fun. That's the mission. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Smile. 90.4 FM.